Hey guys, welcome to the Force Gaming Group. What this is going to be is I'm going to start casting some games that are part of our practice games that we like to do in the Force Gaming Group. We find it pretty interesting to make sure that we have people practice, all the time and make sure we get groups so we can have spectators watching and we can critique each other on the potential, positives and negatives of our playstyle. This is going to be the first video, and eventually when I get a YouTube big enough, I'm going to actually load it, but unfortunately it's a little longer, so it's going to stay in my hard drive until I can actually get it loaded. But if you're seeing this, then obviously I've gotten to that point. Okay, so today this game is a gold versus a diamond player. The gold player is Ryan, the blue or purple Protoss, I can't really tell. Yeah, purple by the minimap. And the diamond player is Method. I'm not too sure exactly what the relation between the players are. They seem to know each other somewhat, so they may know each other out of game, but I know that we got a whole bunch of spectators in here today looking at it, and I think I was even one of them. My name is Razurial. Sorry, I didn't end up introducing myself. So what I'm mostly just going to be doing is casting the game and talking about anything I potentially see that could be a positive or a negative for each player. Now, generally, since Method is a diamond player, I'm not going to worry too much about him. I'm going to worry more about Ryan and his play and figure out ways that he can actually do better. I do remember some of this game because it did happen only like a day or two ago, and it is a pretty interesting game, so we will make sure we see what's happening. I'm going to bring up the production tab now so we can see what's going on, and in method space we have that uh, spawning pool at 15, and it looks like Ryan threw up a pylon to stop the early expand, which is a pretty good idea. We're going to go on Ryan vision so we can check what he saw with his scouting. He did see the hatchery, he did not see the spawning pool go up, and he did prep for that, so that was pretty good. Now, Method is trying to get rid of that. His spawning pool isn't up yet though, so he cannot make Zerglings yet to actually handle it. And for the most part, if we look at the units, he has about 15 drones, so he is popping out, I think, one drone and two overlords, so he's going to be pretty well off. And then down at Rand's base, we have Cybernetics Core going up. Gateway did go down. I believe he has not actually produced any. No, he hasn't produced any other units. He is two ahead in the probe count though, which isn't really surprising since Zerg are generally slower in the beginning of the game till they get that expansion. Iran did stop it, so that's actually good. Looks like Method has his scouting overlord coming in here, and Ryan. Oh, sorry, I have two screens on my computer, and sometimes it glitches out, and my mouse goes to the other screen, and it'll mess up the game. Sorry about that. I'm actually gonna turn that screen off probably after this cast, so I don't have to deal with that problem anymore. It looks like Ryan did grab his first gas, and he probably should be grabbing a second gas shortly, and he is making a zealot. Now, unfortunately, since he decided to make zealot first, he will not be able to actually deal with this overlord for a while, but hopefully he'll be able to get that soon. And it looks like he's getting warp gate research done, which is pretty good. In method space, looks like he has the Zergling speed being upgraded, and he finally did get rid of that pylon, and he is building his expansion. Looks like he still has one queen, and he is making sure to get those larva injects as much as possible. Got a couple Zerglings checking out the front here. Two gateways blocking it off with a perfect zealot. That's really good. I'm also just going to go in and harass and see what he can see, and it looks like out of that we have a sentry and a zealot coming through. Not sure if he actually blocks off his ramp since he has a pretty good block with that, and he doesn't really have to waste the energy. Throws down a third gateway, and it looks like warp gate research is almost done. And it looks like, we have a pretty fast lair for Method. Now, in most of the games that I've seen from Method after this, I do notice he generally does go lair extremely quick. And he doesn't even have a second base up, and he wants to get that lair. I think it's like he likes to enjoy having a very fast Mutalisk, but other than that, I'm not too sure why he goes lair so quickly. Maybe so he doesn't get caught off guard and has to wait for the lair later if the Protoss goes like fast void ray, because queens can handle it even though he doesn't produce more than one queen per base in this game. But it's definitely good to make sure that you have something. So it can be good, but it's actually kind of a little dangerous, because if he's gonna spend the money on going lair, that means he's spending less money on producing units, and he's not his drone count might actually suffer because he's going to be going heavy into Mutalisk so early, especially with the fact that he just has this base just starting to get up, and he doesn't have double extractors on either of these yet. Or not, they're not extractors. What are they? Oh yeah, extractor. Okay. So that shows that he's not going to have the gas to support Mutalisk. So unless he decides to go Hydra, which actually I think he would. I think he actually does he? I can't remember. But if he goes Hydra, then I can understand the reasoning for this. Except that his creep spread isn't really good yet. So I'm just saying that the lair is early, and it doesn't really give him much of a benefit from getting it so quickly. And we're going to see if Ryan actually knows that that expansion is finally up. No, he has not done any more scouting, and he is deciding to expand. Not too sure if this is a completely good idea, because while it's pretty standard to assume that the Zerg is going to expand, you still have to make sure that you know what you're facing and if you're going to have any issues. So I think he's more or less just taking it as the Zerg is following, the standard build, but if anyone ever happens to not do that, then that's going to be an issue. So he should at least scout while he's expanding, so that way he'll know to be prepared for anything that method might throw at him. Looks like we finally are starting to get some creep tumors built up. I think that actually is his third. Yes, it is his third queen. And it looks like Ryan is about to move out. It's kind of weird time of this expansion since he had just recently got it up, and I think off the unit count, he is actually behind in worker count. So this may be an issue. We're going to see how he does, though. He has a lot of sentries here, though, so he has a lot of force fields, and it looks like he is trying to take out some overlords to make sure he can get Method capped, which would be good for a push, because in that way Method can't get reinforcements, and that's definitely one of the stronger points of Zerg, is that they can constantly reproduce their army. I'm going to get a Method unit, though. So okay, see, he is supply capped, but he does have some overlords coming out, so he can, at least he's gotten to the point where he can maintain his current army. I don't know if he's going to put up production. Yes, he's coming out with 6 more overlords seeing this rest, so he's going to be completely prepared for this. Even though Ryan does have a proxy pylon, and he does have the Zelnaga tower, so he can see some of this area. Mostly he's just going to see the creep, though. And honestly, when we were in the game, we were saying that we thought he was waiting too long to attack, since I think he was waiting for this to come up, but he could have moved up, and by the time that came up, he could have already been engaging as it was coming up, so it would have been good. And he had stopped harassing overlords for too long, and it made Method have too much time to prepare for the attack that was going to come. Now, if he was just overlord harassing and then he went back to his base, then that would be okay too, because then it would have made Method make a lot of units to defend himself and fall behind in drone count, which I actually think he has fallen a little bit behind because he has had to make an army. But he goes in for the attack anyways, throws up some pretty decent force fields, cuts off some stuff. He's definitely making sure that a lot of these roaches in the back aren't doing too great. And that range is definitely helping him out, so it looks like he's doing pretty good in this. In production, we have 4 more lings and 4 more roaches for a Method. Oh, sorry. Well, unfortunately, these roaches are really powerful against stalkers when they're not microed really that properly. And the zealots weren't back for a little while there, and the sentries are actually, I thought they were out of energy, but they are not out of energy, so he should be at least throwing up force fields if he wants to retreat. This would be a lot better. He could have kept going, or at least thrown up a guardian shield or something, but unfortunately he only went for this a couple force fields and was doing good, but decided to retreat and then get his guys to where he could regroup and possibly take out this push at his base. And it looks like he's actually going to go into defensive mode, throwing up some cannons, and he's going to destroy these destructible rocks, most likely to take a 3rd expansion. I'm honestly surprised that on the Zerg's end that he has not taken his 3rd yet, but I believe he does so momentarily. We're going to go back to unit count, and it looks like, yes, Ryan is now ahead in probe count, so that definitely did hinder the Zerg a lot because he had to defend, but at the same time I think he could have actually done a crippling blow if he had not waited so long after the initial overlord harassment. Let's go back into production, and we just got some creep tumors for the Zerg. He is moving out, searching around. He takes out that proxy pylon, that's good. And the 3rd base is going up. Now unfortunately there's not a lot to defend here, so that 3rd base may get taken out. I do not know if he knows about it, but his Oh yes, he does have an overlord here. He does see it being set up. I think he probably should have pushed that overlord out first, even though that probably wouldn't have mattered, because as soon as you push the overlord, he would have known that something was definitely going to go down there, because you wouldn't be there for